Hello Internet, I'm Jackie Fox, and today I'm coming to you with a message that, if you saw the headline, it's more targeted to my North Carolinian followers, but it might be relevant for other people in other places. I don't know, I haven't looked into this across the board, but I do know that the two things that I'm going to talk about here today are true in North Carolina. The first regards voting. So here on the left, we often talk about the need for universal mail-in voting programs, especially now during a pandemic. What you may not be aware of as a North Carolina resident, and this is true in several other states, by the way. I highly encourage you, even if you aren't in North Carolina, to look up your own state's rules on this. But here in North Carolina, you can request an absentee ballot for any reason. You just have to want one, basically. There's also a lot of other states where it's not like that, but they are counting COVID fears. So basically you have temporary universal mail-in voting in your state, but I do know that that's true in North Carolina. Now, and this is a good rule of thumb for everyone, but if you are going to do this, you need to request that ballot ASAP, because we're seeing massive slowdowns in the post office system right now. Mail is being delivered very slowly, so what you want to do is go ahead and request that now. And I would personally say don't return it in the mail. What you want to do is actually hand deliver it to your local voting station, or wherever you find out that you need to. Google it. I trust you to be able to figure that out for yourselves. But so basically, in a lot of states, North Carolina being one of them, you can basically, in this election at least, get an absentee ballot that you can mail in or have mailed to you and hand in, as I suggested, for any reason, or at least if you cite COVID concerns. Another thing that I want to talk about for North Carolina, and another thing we talk about a lot on the left, and this isn't exactly that, but it's kind of getting there. We often talk about universal public education programs that are free. And we don't have that here in North Carolina. However, I did recently find out that Roy Cooper passed a grant program that allows people, it is means tested, so it's going to be people under a certain amount of income, or I'm not exactly sure what the qualifications are, but basically if you qualify for some form of government assistance, you're almost definitely going to get into the program. If that's not like the line, but if you are below that line, you definitely get in, is my understanding. And it is providing free trade school through your local community college for free if you qualify. So if you want to learn masonry, carpentry, electrical, heating and air, or plumbing, I believe are the 5 that are covered under this, you may be able to do so absolutely for free. While I do plan to continue being a content creator, I'm also gonna sign up for this program. I have, for a long time, been an advocate of trade school programs. I think that for a lot of people, they make more sense than university educations. They tend to be cheaper, faster, and basically all of these trade programs are pretty guaranteed. Like, there's demand for all of them. There's high demand for all of them, and there aren't enough people going through these programs, so it's a more assured way to get a job than your typical university program. It leaves you in less debt, and you can do it much quicker. So highly like those. And just as an aside, I want to say that universal public education programs should absolutely include trade school for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. Personally, I'm thinking about the electrical program for myself because, even if I don't end up doing that professionally or trying to make money off of that, just having the ability to fix an electrical issue within my own home, that sounds like it could save me a lot of money. And in fact, I've run into some electrical issues fixing my mother's home that I don't really know how to deal with. I do know a little bit about electrical. My father was, he actually started his own electrical business when he was around my age. So this would be an interesting way to kind of follow in his footsteps or kind of understand what his life was like, which would allow me to kind of reconnect with him in a way that I feel is important. But like I said, there's a series of programs: masonry, carpentry, heating and air, electrical and plumbing. So there are plenty of options if you want to get into any of these fields, and they pay much better than a lot of the work that even like college graduates are getting in our current economy. And also, these businesses aren't as likely to be failing because of COVID, because if you have a plumbing problem, you gotta fix that. If you have an electrical problem, you gotta fix that. You know, these aren't likely to be the businesses or industries that are affected by the awful economic mismanagement of our government during this crisis. So they're safer jobs, especially and even now. So I highly encourage you guys to check that out. See if your local community college is participating. I'm not sure that all of them are. Give them a call, find out what your options are. And North Carolina is kind of wishy-washy on education. Like, we're known for our public university system. It's pretty solid, but at the same time, we've done pretty poorly in our K through 12 education system, and we kind of bounce back and forth. It really depends on who is in power at the time, because we're very much a red-blue state or a purple state, if you want to look at it that way, and we tend to kind of bounce control between liberals and conservatives, and that often affects our educational system. But if we are doing this as a purple state, then I think a lot of you blue states may have similar programs right now. And if you do, you might want to look into that. So that's an update on what is happening here in North Carolina, and how you can benefit from these two systems that I don't think a lot of people know about right now. And above all else, you know, no matter how you use this information, no matter what you do, stay safe, because I want you to be able to tune in to my next video. And just in general, I wish you good health and good life, low stress, all of those things. So, till next time, I hope you enjoy yourself. Just one more thing before I roll credits on this. I recently became aware of the No Comrades Under 1K sub, and I would just like to throw up on the screen some comrades that I'm subscribed to that have not yet reached 1,000 subs, but I really feel like they deserve it. So check these channels out, like their videos, give them a subscription, do what you can to help them out, share them on Facebook, whatever social media platforms you happen to be on, and let's try to build a stronger community together. I'm Jackie Fox, and my content will always be ad-free because I'm eschewing corporate donations to the channel. I just ask that if you can donate a little bit of money on Patreon like these fine, foxy folks, or if you want to make a one-time donation, you can donate on Ko-fi. If you're looking for another way to support the channel, I'm also making Fox hats with my logo on them. They are currently in the design phase, and I'm willing to allow people to ask for customized hats. Prices may vary depending on the cost of labor to manufacture them, because I want to make sure that my workers are paid fairly.